All right, what's up, everybody? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, September 5th, 2018. It's been a little bit of a journey since April. Last time we talked to Eric Brown from Aliant Payments, and before I intro him, I wanted to bring up a quote I think is pretty relevant and sets a nice little framework for this chat, which is really to see what Eric's been working on over there at Aliant. And he said, "Credit cards are slowly replacing cash. So in theory, everything you pay for in the future would be with some sort of credit or debit card or mobile wallet. As a payment technology continues to advance, cash will eventually only be in museums for people to look at." And that was in Business Insider, which first of all is a publication you can't buy your way into. And secondly, I think it's a really good intro for introing Eric. So Eric, welcome to the channel, and welcome back. And I guess give us an idea. I mean, what are you working on over there?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's funny that you got that quote. That was actually, we'll get some publications that will email us and ask us for, I guess, expertise on a certain subject. That was actually, we have no idea who they are from what we find out from our marketing crew, that usually the more anonymous it is, the bigger the publication is. We just got mentioned in Nielsen report last week as well. But that was, where I thought the payment industry was going to go in the future. Well, that's interesting that you found that quote. I appreciate you having me back. Great to see you again. And yeah, look forward to chatting more. And I'm sure there's a bunch of good questions out there coming too.
Yeah, I think, what was it? So I don't remember exactly what day it was in April, but Litecoin definitely was above $100. Bitcoin definitely above 7,000. And now it's, it's gone in a different direction than I think most were hoping for, but it's all good. I think what's perfect about us chatting today is the fact that one thing I've been talking about a lot is the builders are building, right? No matter what the price is at, the builders are building. Right. And I see it as a recruiter, and you obviously see it in the payment space.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've taken the time to, there's definitely a lot gone on at Aliant. We've taken the downtime to, add quite a bit actually. But I think when you have that downtime, when you're not in the frenzy of people investing and you're seeing the prices increase and so on and so forth, I think that's where really a lot of the actual work is getting done. Some of the people that I've seen in the industry, I've made a lot more contacts in the industry. I've learned a lot more since our last conversation. Some pretty high level companies out there, but we're all getting our work done. And so, yeah, be rest assured. I mean, it's an opportunity for these companies to get significant tech work done. And, the prices are going to come back. I mean, that's just, I don't really get too involved in the investment stuff. I don't pay attention a little bit now lately. I mean, we'd like it to shoot up a little bit. We'd like to see some action. It just increases volume all the way around, which is what we're looking for now. But I guess if you want me to go into, what we've been up to.
What was that? I'm sorry.
You want me to go into as far as what we've been up to as of late since our last chat?
I know. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a good amount to go over. I know one of the things you brought up to me prior was you've been kind of doing some trade shows. So I'm interested to hear about how, when you're up there talking on panels or whatever it is, how the information is being received and, what kind of things you're talking about at these trade shows.
Yeah, that has actually gotten a lot of traction. So I think initially what we saw in the trade shows was more a little bit of perk interest, a little curiosity more than anything. But the word's gotten out in the payment industry. We've definitely got that word out. We've had quite a few media write-ups. We're starting to see some companies, I would say, probably fairly hot on our heels, I'm assuming. But the trade shows have gone well. So when I've done a couple of the speaking engagements, we've packed the room. We've had a lot of interest. The iPayment deal was great for us. Of course, they got acquired by PaySafe. That makes them that actually makes them number 5 on the list of non-financial institution payment processors in the country. So at this point, they're massive. And what's great, what a lot of people know that I couldn't even say is I know PaySafe very well. Those people are friends of mine for years with that company. I couldn't have asked for a better company when it came to the acquisition. There was a very recent trade show with iPayment and PaySafe only a couple weeks ago. The CEO brought up cryptocurrency during that trade show. I spoke to a lot of the reps there. I had a conversation this last week with some people at PaySafe. There's nothing concrete between us yet in PaySafe, but the iPayment stuff is still going on with us. And we've got the Western States Acquire show, which is a pretty big show. It's going to be in Phoenix. That's actually next week. That's right before the Litecoin Summit. So I have to go to Western States. I got to go do my pitches to everybody there, which I've got quite a few meetings set up with some pretty good sized companies. I've got one that's actually bigger, much, much bigger than PaySafe. They're huge. They're kind of all over in the tech space. Financial space, they play pretty big in. From there, then I fly right to the Litecoin Summit to do that show. And then Portland, then back to Fort Lauderdale. But the shows have gone really well. We submitted another speaker request for another trade show in our industry. And, you guys can be rest assured, whether you're in Twitter land or Facebook land or wherever you may be, that the payment industry guys, they recognize it. They know that this is coming. And again, I've said it before, if there's $1 to be made, these guys are going to figure out a way to do it. And you couldn't have anybody better pushing adoption, because they're all about making some money. And this gives them the opportunity to be more competitive, another product out there. They're going to do it. So we've had a lot of interest, and the trade shows have been excellent, and we're ramping that up even more. We'll be at Money 2020, October 24th, 25th in Vegas, and then we'll probably ramp it down for the year until next year.
Nice, man. You're a busy guy. You're a busy crypto guy, and we have Jerry Hardison who just sent a super chat. Thanks, Jerry. But he asked, will Aliant be at Litecoin Summit? The answer to that is yes, and not only that, you're going to be. I mean, you're the crypto payments guy that's going to be speaking on the first day, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm going to be speaking. So I'm going to keep it very much the payment industry. So hopefully I don't get any tech questions, because you're asking the wrong guy. I'll have to defer that to our engineers or some of the people that we know. I think our expertise is how does it really pertain to the payment industry, and where do we feel it's going to fit? And but yeah, absolutely. I'll be at the Litecoin Summit. I am doing I think a 30-minute or 45-minute there, and I'll be walking around shaking hands, and I'm sure having a couple beers with some people there. Definitely. I'm sure you'll be one of them.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I mean, I was hoping we would have met by. I was supposed to come down there and hang out on your boat for a little bit, but I mean, I think we just got busy.
Yeah,
but I
or
was
married,
one
of the two. That's busy
I think
too.
I think that's what it was. But yeah, man, I'm still looking forward to meeting you. I'm surprised we haven't met yet, so that's going to be cool. But yeah, so crypto pertaining to payments, right? You just mentioned that, and,
right.
I mean, it's really one of the biggest reasons you're here is because I guess what was it, late July, early August, you launched news of your new crypto payment platform product.
Correct.
And which is really what I wanted to, hear from your mouth, what that's all about and what it's going to provide in terms of crypto payments.
So, we felt like there's a couple things to tackle, and there's kind of three things that you want to look at when you're in the payment industry. What merchants are looking for, and remember, my boss are merchants. My clients are my boss. So that they're looking for a fast form of payment. You've got to get the money there quickly. So these long payouts take too much time. Most of the merchants, guys got to realize they're not crypto savvy. They've heard of Bitcoin, and we've got a good staff to be able to explain everything and show them how it works. But we knew that we had to design something that was very straightforward, very easy. It had to have a look and feel of the credit card world as far as a payment portal goes. And so we designed that. We've got software engineers who went pulled up the old whiteboard, created our war room, and just said, all right, these are the things we've got to touch on. We've got to make it a very user-friendly product, something that they can access via their PC. They can send out an invoice to get paid. They can have an API to hook up to their website, have a payment button. They need it on their mobile device. They need transaction reporting and in real time. And they need to, it needs to be fee competitive. Sorry about that. That's actually one of my crypto clients, believe it or not, Mr. Blake. So it needs to be fee competitive as well compared to the credit card world. So building the platform out was pretty easy because, you know, we utilize a lot of payment platforms. So we basically took what we felt like was the best of all the platforms and put it together and then give it a real look and feel. And then I came in and kind of reviewed everything and said, you know, this is what we want. Then what we did was sit down as a whole company and say, okay, you guys use our payment platforms in various different ways. What do we need to do? In the sales office world, we have a lot of agents coming to us and they want to sign up crypto merchants. And we've had a lot of requests as of late. So one of the mandatory things that we had to do, we had to build out agent aspect to our portal. There had to be the ability for the agent to go on, see a list of their clients, board a client, understand the transaction data. If their client called about a Bitcoin transaction or crypto transaction, they have to have that information accessible to them. They don't necessarily want us to handle all of their clients' customer service. They're very used to handling most of it themselves. So we had to create something that not only was, you know, user-friendly for the merchant, but user-friendly for our agent base, which is growing, you know, very quickly. So we had to basically create a downline. We had to create a hierarchy level from there, but we had to be able to see everything. So is what we created. We knew that you have to convert to crypto to USD, to US dollars, to fiat currency. You know, I'm sure there'll come a time when currency will stay in a digital currency form, but that's not the here and now. You know, the here and now is, you know, very few of the merchants actually know, you know, about crypto and how it works, and it can scare merchants. You know, it can sound very technical. You know, what blockchain? I mean, I don't know what blockchain. You know, I mean, those are the kind of responses we get. So we had to have that ability to convert the transaction to US dollars, and what we're doing is really taking the coin, bringing it in, liquidating the coin, turning it to US dollars, and depositing into the merchant's account. We're not even offering them a wallet. We're not even allowing them to store the coin. There's just too many complications that come from that right now. If somebody wants to do that later down the road, we'll give them that opportunity as long as they understand what they're getting into. Okay. The last and the final, which is definitely the most difficult, was, you know, how do you push payments in a crypto world in a country that has pretty strict KYC laws, which anybody out there doesn't know is know your customer, and AML, which is anti-money laundering. These are federal regulated laws. I mean, these are things that, you know, you'd have to adhere to. Otherwise, you know, there's fines. I mean, they can shut you down. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen from there. So we actually, we have a financial institution that wanted to get into the crypto business. They don't want to be mentioned by the way, but we had a long enough history in the payment history, and we went through just rigorous compliance. I can't even tell you how many calls. I mean, it was call after call after call. It went on for months. We had to demo everything. We have a risk and analyzing tool where we can actually monitor transactions on the blockchain. And that allowed us to get that banking relationship where that bank is actually the one pushing the payments for us. So we're able to go out to merchants and say, here's a portal, something you recognize. Here's the fees, which you like. And I'm going to push US funds to your bank account in 2 business days. Those were the main 3 things that we had to accomplish. And since we last spoke, we've accomplished that, and it's been very stressful.
I thought you were going to say it's been amazing and exciting.
It's been very stressful. Yeah, it's exciting now, but it was pretty stressful. A lot of you know, there's a lot of insurance policies involved. Just a lot all the way around. Just what you have to do to, you know, to have something that's sustainable and scalable over a longer period of time, and something that's truly going to be there and work. It took a lot.
No, and I mean, anything worth something usually does take a lot of effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just brought up KYC, and I know right now it's kind of on the forefront of everybody's mind because Shapeshift, obviously huge company, yesterday just announced basically they're, you know, beginning to comply with those KYC rules, and a lot of people are, you know, not happy about that. They're kind of discouraged about that, but you have a vast amount of knowledge about KYC and anti-money laundering rules. So I mean, I guess I'm kind of asking also, what's your opinion on that? I mean, a lot of people are worried that it really defeats the purpose of decentralization and privacy, having those KYC. But what many people don't take into account is, really the hurdles if you're not going to comply with those things in growing any type of relevant, sustainable business, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And as you know, Shapeshifter, friends of ours. We do know the guys at Shapeshift, incredible company, and we like those guys for sure. I thought it was a good move. These laws aren't going to change. They're here to stay. I think they're even going to be kind of developed around cryptocurrency, even as it moves forward. I think you're going to see those laws change. If you're looking for mass adoption, if you're really truly looking for mass adoption, like you said, you want to pay for your coffee with cryptocurrency. These are the hurdles that you are going to have to overcome to get to that point. When I hear about privacy on coins, decentralization, things along those lines, in the real world sense, I don't see it. I think it's more that some stuff that you hear on Twitter, or what you might think is going to happen or would like to happen. But if you guys really want to see mass adoption, then this is what's going to happen. But what's great is companies like a Shapeshift or companies like Aliant moving to that and saying, hey, look, we want to get the ability for everybody out there to be able to use cryptocurrency. And if we have to go through a compliance matter, then we're going to do it. Our knowledge of it is extensive. We have to deal with it, daily around here, along with credit card fraud, things along those lines. I think what you're going to find is that not only is the currency going to adopt, but the government regulations are going to adopt to the currency, because they're going to see that there's a lot of transparency there. They can actually see a lot that's going on. A lot of people think it's something that you can't see what's going on, but there really is. So I think it's going to make it easier for government institutions to adopt it. And once they warm up to the idea and adopt it, that's when then you're going to see that push towards the mass adoption. So I think it's a good move on Shapeshift. They got really cool swag, by the way. They sent us some stuff. They got cool socks. We do like those guys. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with their compliance stuff. I know what we had to do. And we're just fortunate that we had a lot of knowledge in it to begin with, because when you're a cryptocurrency company and you're looking to tackle that, the biggest is it's such an unknown. I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean there's a KYC policy? What is that? I mean, yeah, well, it's about that thick, by the way. It's not very cheap to have one created and or to follow, but it's going to get us where pretty much everybody wants to go. Agreed.
And I think in the same sense, blockchain is changing currency, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of my clients are, they're restructuring their entire traditional data platforms on the blockchain, right? And I think in that sense, taking something similar and creating some type of decentralized data platform for verifying customer backgrounds could be something that transforms the KYC rules and regulations. So
I think it will. I think it's a good point, not just to look at the currency aspect, but the blockchain aspect and what's going on there. I think it will, almost like you have a verify by Visa, where you can put in your info and you're automatically approved because you've gone through that process. It's almost something along those lines, where is there a process where, you're going to say, okay, I'm this particular customer, and boom, there I am. I don't have to necessarily go out to every single bank or every single credit card company and prove who I am every single time. If you adopt that blockchain technology and capabilities, then I think some of the rules and laws will adopt that as well. It's just going to make it easier for us. But it's kind of a novel idea, I guess, is this private currency and all that. I just don't think those will be the forefront winners at the end of the day. When it comes to who's really going to come out and who's really going to be the leaders in cryptocurrency, I don't think it will be those. But that's just a personal opinion, by the way.
No, I agree. And I know a lot of people are worried about the KYC and decentralization, but I will say, since we're talking about it real quick, I took a poll a little bit before we started the interview, and I asked everybody, like, what hooked them? What got them into cryptocurrency? What is it that intrigues them? And 80%, they're all about making that money. So,
wow, what a shocker. That's why I said, guys, you're in good hands, because if you're with the payment guys, there's nobody that's more about making money than the payment guys. So like I said, there's a dollar to be had. They're going to figure out a way to do it. So yeah, they're in good hands. So, hopefully what we'll see is we're looking for it right now. We've done all our work. Of course, we'll go through different phases and, create different, friendly features and user features within our platform. But we want to see some volume and activity now as well. I think all the way around, it'd be good for the industry to start seeing some volume pushed.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I'm kind of curious, even since, if you want to compare it to last time we chatted in April, how has like merchant acceptance been in terms of, types of merchants that are getting on board? How many merchants are getting on board? Has that changed at all since last time we spoke?
I think it's increased. It's weird. It's been a little all over the board. I won't call any brands out. I've had a few calls with some brands, some fairly decent sized brands. It's definitely getting accepted pretty well in our travel clients. We had a call today where we're looking at pushing a couple more of our airline deals to a certain provider, which I just can't say right now. But we're definitely looking at crypto as an option there. Makes a lot of sense. We've had some people that just didn't understand it. That's just what it came down to. They just didn't understand it. And then we have other people that definitely understand it. They want to be on the forefront. And I think we're going to continue to see that. The merchants have been all over the board. I've had, brand names. I think the B2B clients, it makes a lot of sense. The international merchants, it makes a ton of sense. Definitely our high risk clients, it definitely makes a lot of sense there. And, we're continuously doing well in that market. And again, we'd like to see a little bit more activity right now, because I think what happens is once we get a little bit more of the buzz going, it's that that fear of loss, right? Nobody wants to be missing out on something, and I think that's where the merchants are too. And sometimes, we'll let them know. I think right now the key is just keep going after, all of our sales offices and all of the resellers and the software developers and the payment gateways, because what's going to happen there, it's the trickle down theory, right? I mean, you're going to sign the different payment gateways and show them what the benefits are. And then what do? They go out and talk to all of their agents go out to talk to all of their merchants. And it just takes a little bit of time there, but instead of going after the one-off merchants, we're going after really the reseller market. That way, what we're doing is power in numbers. I want numbers out there talking about crypto. I don't want just my crew here in my office talking about it. They're very well versed already, but I want those guys. And that's why we're doing the trade shows pretty rigorously and training guys on it, going after the sales offices, because that's really where you're going to get, instead of, 100 merchants, you're going to get 1,000 merchants.
Yeah. And so it really doesn't help the fact that we've been down for like 8 months. We're down like 80%. That really doesn't help at the end of the day, right? When it comes to
it was nice because things were quiet and we got a lot of work done in that time. And I got to admit that was really nice. But it's kind of funny because you've seen some of the stuff on Twitter, with Charlie or, buy a Bitcoin, which I did, by the way. That was good. That was good advice. I bought a whole Bitcoin and I just decided to put it aside and say, you know what? It's right. It's something that not everybody can have. I'll never sell it. I don't care what it goes to. But yeah, it'd be kind of nice to see a little activity right now. I think we're all ready for it. I know I am. I don't pay attention to the investment side too much, but it's we just needs to be a little bit more fun. It was a little bit more fun on our last chat, and there's still a little bit more excitement. And I want to see the fun back on social media with it. It helps us. I know people are curious about what we do and merchants that we sign and things along those lines. And we're continuously trucking along. But yeah, it would help if we saw some increasing in volume and just all the way around. It'll put smiles on people's faces. And coming up to the holidays, it'd be nice to see that.
100%. So, I mean, speaking to that, as volume increases and as, you know, market price even increases, would you say that you would anticipate merchants getting on board a little bit more easier, people spending crypto a little bit more?
Yeah, merchants are no different than, you know, regular consumers. Nobody wants to feel like they're missing out on an opportunity, especially a merchant. A merchant, you know, most likely has got an entrepreneur, you know, executive type staff to it. So it can get competitive. I know in my space it's got competitive. There's one pretty large company I just heard got a patent for, you know, blockchain and crypto. I won't say who they are because they are a competitor, and I don't ever mention their name. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's merchants are the same way. So we see activity and volume. You know, we contacted a Lamborghini dealer down here in Miami. You know, but that's what it's going to take. We take a little bit of volume. We'll see some more, you know, merchant activity. But once merchants are reading about it more, they're seeing it. You know, they all have social media campaigns. They're paying attention to social media. It's just been a little quiet lately. So once we get some more activity, of course, you're going to get, you know, more merchants signed up as well, for sure.
So, and then I wanted to ask you, I guess, in terms of getting a merchant signed up, obviously, you probably a lot of times you come across founders that don't even really get the technology, right? So how easy is it for them to get set up? And I think I kind of talked to you about this a little bit in the last live stream, but how easy is the whole process, right? Getting them set up and getting them ready to accept.
Yeah, we made it very easy. The nice thing is I don't have to underwrite these merchants, you know, so, you know, underwriting being, I don't have to go through a financial analysis of these merchants to bring this product on. And in the credit card world, it is something that I have to do, you know. So that's something that I don't have to do with these. So basically, I just have to make sure that I'm setting up with, you know, my client as far as getting all their pertinent information, their business information, verifying who they are. You know, we have, you know, companies that we, you know, verify business information, credit, so on and so forth, to make sure they are who they are. That's the main thing, which we can do in a matter of minutes nowadays, you know. And also then what we do is, if you guys can hold on real quick. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, just, yeah, if you could turn it off, it'd be great. Sorry about that. I'm just working on the floor with the guys out here. So, you know, hanging out here, they're working. We're still in work times here. So, but yeah, you literally can sign up in a matter of a few minutes and just basically submit your docs to comply with KYC stuff as well. And then we'll do that quick verification. So basically we can have a merchant up in a matter of an hour or two. Everything's kind of automated now in our system. Once we set them up, they get an email that has credentials. They can go ahead and log in. They can call in for a tutorial. We'll walk them through a demo, get them set up and so on and so forth. But the actual sign up and approval process, they can do literally within an hour.
Okay, cool. So
a few minutes to basically submit, and then, you know, it takes about an hour just to verify everything and then shoot that back out to them. But of course, it depends on how many apps are coming in at any particular time.
Yeah, so it seems like setting up the platforms and making this happen, like what you're doing, is really, obviously it's foundational. It's the doorway to adoption. But I think that last piece is going to be that transactional volume, people actually going and paying with cryptocurrency, right? And that's what might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's what's going to take longer. I mean, I think, you know, it took debit cards the better part of 10 years. I don't think it's going to take that long with cryptocurrency. It's moving pretty fast. But, you know, I mean, realistically, you got, you know, a good 3 to 5 years, you know, to see some, you know, significant adoption with it. Of course, you're going to see some major retailer will come out with it, most likely on an online product, you know, like a Target online or something like that. Maybe not necessarily at their retail location, but what's really what I've been, you know, lately paying a lot of attention to is Lightning Network and, you know, atomic swaps and, you know, all these things that we're kind of learning about and hearing about, like, how can we speed up the transaction? How can we make it faster? You know, is it off chain? I mean, you know, how are we going to work that out? So, I think there's a lot of extremely smart people working on that concept right there. And once you get that nailed down, you get that transaction fast. You can verify it fast. It's guaranteed. You can convert that to, fiat, dollars. Definitely adoption will pick up speed. That's for sure. Right now, I think what you're lacking is that sheer speed at point of sale.
Which really is that, I think it's the lack of understanding. I mean, I know so many people that they're just like, they say they're not interested, but I think it's more because they don't feel like even figuring out what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And that's, that's what's good about having a sales crew and having people that can explain it. One of the companies I always admire all the way around is GoDaddy, because GoDaddy has great products, great prices. They have a great website, but you can call in and you're literally on the phones with somebody in a matter of a couple minutes. I mean, they really, and their level, they can go all the way down to some mom and pop little website, all the way down to serious, executive type, big level type environment. And it's kind of what we're trying to emulate with crypto, is making sure that, yeah, you can get all the information online. We are going to be building a new sign up website for it, by the way. Is being able to people call in and kind of comfort them with, look, it's pretty easy. It's guaranteed. We're going to put money in your account. And they're like, oh, okay. I just need to make sure. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the sales pitch, right? Like what are the benefits that you pitch? If they're like, what's the point of doing this? What do you say?
So I think any business owner that's, not somebody who's looking to maintain a business. I think there's two different kinds of business owners. There's somebody who's looking to drive their business, make more money, do something in the environment or the world or whatever drives them. It's not necessarily money all the time. And then you've got somebody who's just kind of maintaining where they're at. I'm not really interested in that person that's maintaining where they're at right now. I'm interested in that forward thinking person. Is it a charity? What are the benefits to a charity on cryptocurrency? My God, there's, they would have a tax benefit to making a charitable donation. They would have the ability of, when people are investing and they're making more money and they do have a cause and they want to invest money and send money to that cause. So charities it's an excellent, option for charities. Why not accept it? It's cheaper to process, and if you can get those people. And the investors, I mean, a lot of them do tend to be well-to-dos, maybe they do have a certain passion for a charity. When it comes to a regular business owner, are you a forward-thinking business? Are you just where you're at? Are you going to be the last guy in? Or are you going to be the first guy in? So it's that, throw the competitive nature to them. And then we say, hey, look, I can do it cheaper. I can move money across international lines faster. This is the future. And, you can, again, get in it now or get in it later. And then we also say, look, what's the drawback? I mean, if you're not going to process a transaction and you're not going to get charged for processing that transaction, why not do it? What's the drawback? But of course, we're looking at particular companies that we think are going to do well. You have a pretty large media company that we want to propose to. They have very, very high tickets, $1 million tickets, and they do international transactions. We ran an international credit card for them for $750,000. The fees were, God, I don't know, $5,500, $6,000 for the fees alone. I mean, it was a crazy number.
What did you say the fees were, like $50,000?
Oh, we ran a transaction, a credit card transaction in an international environment for a big media company, and it was $750,000. And the fees ended up being, it was almost $6,000 just the fees. I mean, it was some crazy number where I'm looking at it going, hey, even if we had margin in the deal, it would have been, $2,000, $2,500. So I think the KYC AML stuff puts the merchants at ease as well. They have this uneasy not knowing what crypto is all about, but we're like, hey, look, it's a domestic bank that pushes the payments. They're publicly traded. They're over 100 years old, and we follow all KYC and AML rules, completely report to the Fed. And once we give them that warm, fuzzy feeling as well, it makes it easier for them to sign up. But it's kind of like, hey, why not do it? Why not try something new? So that's kind of our pitch to the merchants.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that KYC issue we were just talking about, it does provide, I mean, it provides accountability, right? And when you have so many people like merchants raising their eyebrow to crypto, being like, I don't think I trust this,
Yeah.
when they see something like accountability happening, like you just said, it gives them a little bit more comfort in being like, all right, maybe, maybe this is something that I can get into.
They have to have the warm, fuzzy feeling that, their money is secure. Remember, to them, it's not digital currency. It's not crypto. It's dollars. That's what they're looking for still. We're just saying, look, this is a different way of transporting it. We can do it cheaper, more secure. There's no element of chargebacks where a lot of merchants deal with that. So you've definitely got to give them the warm fuzzy feeling. Think as a consumer, anytime you buy something, you're buying mainly from trusted sources. A lot of times you won't go out of a trusted source unless you've done what? You've done your due diligence, right? You go online, you read reviews, what are they all about, so on and so forth. We're not any different. So I think we present very well online. Anybody who searches us online, you'd be hard pressed to find a complaint about us. I'm sure there's one out there somewhere. But that's what merchants want, and if you can get that across to them, then you're going to be okay. Yeah, they're going to sign up with you, and they're going to be interested.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things, and you just mentioned this, it's really what's getting merchants on board. And it's probably the number one thing is like you, like myself, entrepreneurial mindset, thinking ahead, looking into the future and thinking, how can I grow my business even more? Especially looking ahead. And I think what stands out is something I remembered that you said in our last live stream. You said this is a millennial product. And I think
it is.
That's exactly it. I mean, and that's why I think I enjoy the space so much, is because most of the people that I've met, they have like this entrepreneurial mindset like you do, like so many people in the chats, where they like the innovation, they like this change that's happening. And that just needs to catch on. And I think it's definitely a fire that's going to spread.
Yeah, it's definitely a millennial, which I'm not, obviously. Sorry to say, but the Gen Xers will get you guys there. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a millennials, it's a Gen Z. I mean, they grew up with phones from when they're like babies now, but it's their currency. We're just the people kind of molding it and getting it out there, and then we'll be handing it over. And I think you're going to see a lot of evolution in it as well. I think they're already reading a lot about it. There's some pretty, wow, some of the pedigrees of some of the people I've seen working on blockchain type, it's amazing, man. These people are leading jobs from Hulu, American Express, Starbucks. Heavy hitter CTO jobs, where I've seen they're straight out of MIT Media Labs. And I'm like, they wouldn't even let me sweep the floor in that place, so it's you just don't have, like when I went to Consensus, I've just never seen so many smart people in one place before. You don't have that type of intelligence, and there's an option for failure. There's just really not. It's just an option for evolution is really all it is.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And I see it.
Yeah.
It's almost intimidating sometimes, but I recruit executives, CTOs, architects in the blockchain space. And, some of these guys and gals, they have PhDs, and they're leaving like big time companies to get into this space.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And they're leaving these big jobs. Yeah, it's amazing. I have a PhD from Hard Knocks University. So I keep it on the wall. It's somewhere around here. But to leave, we've got a couple guys that's just got in the payment space, and we've been talking to them about crypto, and they're particularly in the CBD and marijuana space right now. And I think it was American Express, and Hulu. And the one kid was he designed the program that was the college program signing up for Hulu. He designed it all. They had, I think, 600,000 signups in a month, or it was some crazy number. And they've basically left those jobs and they're working in the space,
Yep. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone just said, get Eric to announce something big. I think what you're working on is big.
Yeah, well, what we're working on all the way around is big. Like I said, what's probably gone well is, when we signed the iPayment deal, they had the acquisition like literally immediately after we did it. We were ensured that, this was going through, and we've had a lot of chats, but it was just kind of slow to getting it rolling. So I think that's really going to get ramped up and rolling, because now that acquisition has happened, and they've even dropped the iPayment brand already, so in that sense, it's kind of like, okay, we've moved past that, which is very recent. So I think they're very pro crypto, by the way, so I think that is really big. I mean, you've got a top 5 processor out there that's really pro crypto, and in some way, fashion, or form, we're working with them. I think it's going to be, pretty close, actually. Like I said, fortunately, a couple of the people that have been there through their acquisition process, I've known actually like 13 years. So that's pretty big. I think some of our travel stuff is really big as well. And what's really been big was, being able to get the bank here domestically. I mean, I only know of one other company that can, push payments in a domestic environment here. I mean, what it entails is you either got to have a bank, or you have to have a money services license in every single state in the country, which is a daunting task, to say the least. I mean, you're not even going to attempt it. So that was really big. That's really big. So as we get the word out there more and more, it's just going to be much easier for merchants to sign up, because they're going to be like, okay, look, I'm getting money from, a domestic bank. I'm not getting somebody from Europe, exchange rates, and so on and so forth. They're going to feel like it's from here. It's where it's coming from. They're going to have a payment quick. And guys, remember, we literally just rolled this out about 4 weeks ago. So we're just getting started on that program. So I think it's going to be really big, actually. I don't know of anything bigger we could do than have that bank. And that bank has actually followed us to every single trade show, and they have backed us up at every single trade show they've been there, and they're even going to be at Litecoin Summit.
Oh, that is awesome. I mean, that actually, I'm glad you brought it up, because we announced, or you announced earlier in the month, but we talked about this announcement, of this crypto payment product that you guys launched. But the banking relationship that you have that's going to facilitate the payments, that really is like a highlight that we, I definitely want to make sure everybody on the live stream understands.
It took so much luck, so much just being in the right place at the right time. A lot of hard work getting these old bankers to, getting these guys to understand, because you're dealing with guys in a boardroom that you'll never actually talk to, by the way. You're dealing with, bank committee. When bank goes to committee, we had to sit around and wait for 3 weeks just for the bank to go to committee. So we had to sit around and wait for 3 weeks after doing all of the work they requested, just to find out what the answer was. And on the day they were supposed to give us the answer, which was a Friday afternoon, by the way, they go, well, we're still talking about it. It'll be Monday. So it's just what it entails to get that done was, I really thought Friday afternoon, I was like, oh, wow, this is not good. Where's the bar at? And I was like, this is going to be a long weekend. It was huge. It's much bigger than, signing iPayment even, or any of those deals, because, now you've got a full legit financial institution, and their core product, this is what they do. They push payments for big companies. This is a bank nobody would have ever heard of. But it was massive getting that relationship. Like I said, I think there's only one other company in the country that I know that can do that.
Yeah, so I think it's a huge achievement. So, and I think so too. I mean, I know the last live stream we did, there was a lot of good things happening too, but I think it's, obviously there's not as much traffic in the crypto space as there was back in April, but huge news, I think, in my opinion.
I think we're a lot farther along. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I was going to end with this question, because in the last live stream, you said your goal is to penetrate the payment space. So my question for you is, in the last 5 months, do you feel like you've begun achieving that goal?
It's I've gotten further than what I thought, actually. You know, I definitely had a few doors slammed in my face. That's sales. I mean, that's always going to happen. God, I wish I could say their name, but I'd be going way out of bounds to say they're a huge financial, just all the way around. But when you have a company of this size, which is, it's 31,000 employees. I mean, that's how big they are. When they came to the CEO of iPayment and said, "Hey, I heard you guys are taking crypto payments. Who are you doing that? Who's your guy for that?" And Obi Ross, who's CEO of iPayment, was like, "Yeah, he's actually here. He's here at the trade show right now. I'm going to introduce you." And that gentleman was at a round table with 6 different people and got up, stepped out, came over, said, "I'm in a meeting. I only have a few minutes. I wanted to say hello, introduce myself. I'm absolutely interested in what you guys are doing. And can you give me your card?" Gave him his card. I was back in touch with him a few days later. I would have never thought we would have been to that position in this short a time. So yeah, we're definitely getting there. And it's going to be pretty cool. Money 20 Western States, it looks like it's going to be a lot of people attending. Money 2020 will be big, and everybody hit the Litecoin Summit. If you're around, go. You definitely got to be there. It's going to be a good crew there. Charlie, it's free drinks on Charlie. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you get a free bottle of water if you get a ticket. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. Just keep the faith, and everything's going to keep cruising along. And yeah, there'll be smiles on people's faces again for sure.
Cool. Do you have any idea? Obviously you do, but what you're going to be talking about at the Litecoin Summit?
It's going to, pertain to payment space. Really what I think it needs to go to, especially with, we're in the Slack together. So, I've had some good people get a hold of me there, and some technology that they're working on. And it's really going to be talking about, what I know, which is what the merchants want, what we need to provide them, and to be able to, for people to understand that this is where we need to get to. And once we get there, then we've got a viable product that, because technically you're going to go compete for credit card business. That's what you're going to do. You're going to compete for it.
Yeah.
If you're going to compete for it, you better come, you see these guys, you better come with a pretty strong game. So I think that's really what it's going to be about. It's going to be about, what we need to do to get it to adoption, and what needs to happen, and what the merchants need to happen for them to go ahead and embrace it.
Cool. I want to cover this real quick. We just got a super chat question from Lawrence. He said, okay, how does Aliant account for the Litecoin price fluctuation? For example, it's currently 60. What if it goes to 400?
Wow, that'd be great.
I know.
I mean, I don't think I would have anything to do with it, but I mean, seeing a Litecoin go to 400, it's just going to put a smile on people's faces. And just imagine. So, right now you see where we're at right now, right? Everybody wants a smile on their face. They want to see, I mean, even that little glimmer of hope we had last week, or, even I was like, oh, this is great. But we get a Litecoin at 400 and we get around the holidays, you're going to see spending. And that's what's key. What makes the world goes around is when you guys out there in Twitterland are actually out there spending your money. That's when a business owner's happy. That's when a consumer's happy. That's when the kids are happy, so that's what you're going to see. You get that number and you're going to see spending. You're going to see, you're going to see movement, volume, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. And I think I completely agree with that. And I think, and actually John Moore just asked, but I think what he was asking was, if price is fluctuating, during the payment process, how is it accounted for? And John Moore basically answered by saying it's immediately converted to USD.
Yeah,
right?
Correct. Yeah. So what we have to do is we do have to lock in the price, or lock in the invoice. So when we said the invoice, and, you've got a limited time of, hitting that invoice and making sure that the transaction is done in that specific time frame, because you're talking about the volatility right there, and so that's what we're doing. We need to make sure that we lock that in and lock that transaction in and get it as quickly as possible, because then what we're doing is basically, looking to liquidate that coin, as fast as we possibly can. So that's how we're, taking care of the volatility factor of it, is to limit the time of, when you actually open up an invoice to pay it, or you're doing a transaction, it has to be done in a very short time frame, within 15 minutes, actually. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry about
cool.
that. That's my my crypto client calling back again. He's jonesing for his account. We just got him approved for a couple high risk accounts for his business too. So we got to get him set up hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And he's yeah, I can give you his names. He's pretty social media. Clubtac.com. He's got a bootybox.com. He's got a tac8.com, and he does millions of dollars of reservations for the cruise line system. So our next one is talking to him about the cruise line reservations and his call centers and being able to shoot out an email invoice for booking your cruise.
Cool. So, I mean, and he's texting you right now. And I mean, the people are literally seeing adoption on their screen right now.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a lot of tech guys, and he's an interesting fellow. We've been doing accounts for him for a long time, and he offered all of his accounts in tech and said absolutely, you know. So
cool. So can we next time? I mean, next time we do a sit down, a chat, can Litecoin at least be above like $150? I think.
Man, you know what? Yes, that would be great. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a great holidays. I know that we just put in a lot of hard work, and I'm a true believer that look, you put in the work, it's you know, no matter how far down the road, but you know, you're going to get rewarded, and we definitely put in a lot of hard work. And I appreciate, you know, definitely everybody on social media who like gives us a lot of love and hangs in there with us and all of that. It's really nice to see all that. We like seeing it, you know. It's been great. But yeah, we're all looking for the push in price. We're all looking for the volume, us as well right now. It's definitely going to help that adoption phase for sure. And hopefully what we see is a good climb up through the holidays towards the end of the year.
Cool.
I got to pay for my ski trip, so I got to get that Litecoin up, you know.
I hear you, man. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by today. It was definitely a nice little update. I think it was maybe a little bit past due, so I'm happy we were able to catch up, and it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm gonna be shaking your hand in a week from now.
I know. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be on this little marathon around the country talking about crypto. It's going to be awesome to see some people that, you know, especially like yourself, that, you know, you work with and chat with and become friends with, you know, from far away, to be able to get some FaceTime. I do think it's important that people get out to Litecoin Summit. And the reason why it's important to see everybody, you know, it's important to get FaceTime. I've learned more in the trade shows, and that's where we've done a big bulk of our business. That's where we're really pushing the adoption, is face to face. It's not online. It's right in front of people's faces and sitting down with them and going over with it. So, you know, if people can, if they're in the area or whatever, get out to the show, please. I mean, I'll tell you what, get out to the show, and me and Dan will probably buy some beers for a couple people here and there, I'm sure.
Absolutely, man. It'll be awesome. So you heard it here. If you want to meet Eric, definitely get to Litecoin Summits in next week. And is there anything else you want to add, man, before we end this?
No, they're doing the fire alarm right now, which I was talking about. There it goes. Perfect. So that's a great ending to the show.
That's awesome. Well,
I guess we all got to run out the building now. So, hey, everybody in Twitterland, Facebook, Dan, I appreciate it. YouTube, I appreciate it. We'll be back with you guys soon, and see you all at the Litecoin Summit.
All right, Eric. Thanks, man. It was great.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So everybody, you heard it here. That was a great outro by Eric. He calls it a millennial product, but he's definitely a legend in the space, setting the foundation for adoption. So appreciate you, Eric. Everybody, appreciate you coming by today. We'll see you on the next video, and God bless.
See you guys. This is how we go out around Aliant right here.